Hello world. Well, for the last couple of years I've been trying to have a fish tank on and off, but I have been having some problems with a lot of white slime. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't want to give up yet, and since I'm a student of science, I've decided I'm going to try to experiment on different solutions. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. That white stuff on that rock is the slime. Now this tank, the water's partially cleared from this UV sterilizer over here, but there's still a lot of stuff in there. This other tank that does not have a UV sterilizer, you can see it's much more milky in here. Now I'm not entirely sure what this is. Is it because I used too much of those good bacteria pouches and used some gravel in the past that had so-called beneficial bacteria in it? Or is it because my old wooden furniture is putting out mold spores? Or what is it? I'm not entirely sure. Now, one thing is, I got these rocks here. A local fish store was nice enough to sell me some rocks that from their tanks that had algae on it, because I'd rather have, you know, green algae than this white stuff that actually makes my aquarium plants rot. And I thought I'd try to help the algae grow with this fertilizer, which you can see on here. Well, I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but it has phosphorus that may help fungus grow. But even this little tank here, which has plastic plants that the aquarium store sold me, had, you know, some nice green algae on it. I tried fertilizing it with only drops of pure ammonia, which some people recommended online, and it's still, yeah, pretty mucky. So I'm going to try some experiments. I think I'm going to clean up this tank, but I'm not going to like use really harsh chemical sterilizers. And down here is one of my experiments. This is a little container with fresh water, and it has more of those pouches of so-called beneficial bacteria for your aquarium, and I've been feeding it with only drops of ammonia. The hope here is that some people say you just need to complete the nitrogen cycle, but every time I try to measure nitrogen, or excuse me, ammonia in nitrate and nitrite in my tank, it's always reading pretty much zero. So maybe I can produce the ceramic biomedia in there to be perfectly cycled under controlled conditions first. Maybe, I don't know. But that's what I'm going to use on this tank here. And then this other tank, I think I'm going to experiment with something I found online, which is Purigen Ultimate Filtration, which is fairly cheap and removes ammonium nitrite and nitrate chemically without any need for the good bacteria to biologically break down those chemicals. So I want to try to experiment on different ways of filtering a tank. And in the meantime, the live plants that were rotting in there I rescued, and I put them in these little containers. Now the idea here is I want to see which of them grow the best, but in particular I want to see which ones have slime on them and which ones are just stay clear. Now And this one here is Eco Complete gravel, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but it looks slimy already. Maybe because Eco Complete is supposed to have beneficial bacteria and so-called root enhancing symbionts in it. So I don't know if that may actually do more harm than good, but I decided, instead of just listening to what people say on the internet, let's test it. And this one here is actually potting soil with orange gravel on top to keep that down beneath the water column as much as possible. One reason I did that is because I noticed that this Job's organic potting soil for seedlings actually says biosome exclusive family of microorganisms, and I think it's wrote up on the back here, but I was looking at the names of the species they listed and I could recognize types of fungus as well as bacteria, and I know that plants actually need kind of a good fungus, not the bad fungus on their roots. So I thought I'd try that too. And I also have some this is Fluval Stratum. It's a aqua soil made from volcanic ash with fertilizers added, and that's what these plants are in here. So basically I decided to use the scientific method and test different variables instead of just going by what some expert says on the internet, which is often not accurate.